What's up, wizards? I'm gonna talk total alchemy of reality in this one. So, it's your man Satoru Gojo. And got something in my teeth. Yeah, let's alchemize that. Alright, so what I'm noticing is people usually have a few layers of maturing, where we can call them also the development of consciousness or self-realization. And the first one is very innocent narcissism, where we are, this is happening to me, or life is like this, and they're doing this to me. And so this will lead to, perception of you're doing this to me and that's not fair or whatever. So it's called victim consciousness. Or basically, still we're not yet aware of the intricate patterns that form reality and that we can be the authors of these. So somewhere along the line, you will be seeing that even though you change your job, or you change your girlfriend, or you change something, okay, and if you move to a different country, a lot of the cultural patterns will be different, and they may allow you to form yourself in that context differently. So moving from one point of observation in the fractal to another point of observation in the fractal will be different, right? As our societies or cultures are different. But still, you may notice that some things loop, especially in the intimate relationships. You will see the replay of your pattern. And at this point, people get informed about the pattern, the analysis, the psychoanalysis, or the ancestral pattern also, because it's something that you may discover that psychoanalyzing the patterns of your life may not have the power to switch or change what is happening, and you keep re-experiencing loops. At some point, the consciousness grows, and you really are frustrated with the loops. Now, at this point, you might also understand, okay, these are like these karmic pattern loops. And in a way, my DVD is projecting this reality. So something is recorded in my DVD, ancestrally, genetically, epigenetically, that keeps replaying. And now, if I choose if I have the mindfulness to choose a different reaction, then I may kind of like on the go hold a pattern that is going to animate my body and animate the circumstances, and I may choose a different situation. And now you're becoming a little bit creator. Now, at this point, we're also realizing that there are tools that we can go and use to reanimate deeply ingrained patterns. So some of these tools would be shamanism or ancestral healing or plant medicine, anything that works with deeper architecture of reality, okay? Because some things we simply cannot change by thinking about it, because the way we think and the way we act is informed by the pattern, okay? So we have to do deeper. So we can do dream work, shamanic work, subconscious reprogramming, and there are modalities for that that are really efficient, where you can work with a coach or a healer. For example, one of these is PEAT, or PEAT, is one of the modalities that is fastest to deconstruct the pattern with just running through your software, running through your architecture. With this like simple methodology, you can diffuse and dissolve a pattern that might be causing even unwanted behavior, okay? Something that is like a complex pattern that is unwanted, you can even change that with these coaching tools, or you can change that through dream work or any other way that you know how to use. And so we're going from really uninformed victim consciousness to noticing and analyzing, okay, this is the level of awareness where we are noticing how the psyche operates, and we are kind of getting to know the architecture, so it's called psychoanalysis. Then the awareness of the pattern, and then they can also be shifted on the etheric level, okay? And then how to work with that. And then finally, I would say the fourth stage is the self-realization, or nirvana. So this is a liberation from all karmic patterns. And this is something that I teach, that I also refer to 0 point most of the time, if you have been seeing my videos. So with the 0 point is like, what is then the 0 point? Where you have dimension 1, it is the dot. Dimension 2, it is the line. Or some women say dimension 1 is a 0, is a dot. Dimension 1 is the line. Dimension 2 is a plane. Dimension 3 is something more of a three-dimensional shape, like a pyramid or a cube. And then with the time, you have also reiteration of these forms on a linear axis. And then that would be 4D. And with the 5D, you would have multiple timelines, etc. Okay, so you will be coming to the point in your self-realization where you can shift time or time-space and the construct of reality. Okay? Now, I'm gonna go into this, and I call it now total alchemy. So what that is, it first comes with the realization that it does not need to necessarily first come with this realization. It may come that you start seeing synchronicities and seeing quantum shifts, because simply this level of consciousness activates for you, and then you notice that, for example, when you change your interpretation of reality and what you desire to see, people around you that have been behaving in a pattern start to adopt a different scenario. So literally your friends or your family or somebody that was in a consistent pattern, you change, all of a sudden they start to do things, say things differently. And this needs to be obvious, like, because this is always happening on a subtle level, but it becomes really freaking obvious if you have, like, let's say, I would get so emotional about disliking something, and I'll be like, I'm done with that, and I want like something completely opposite, and so I just create something within my mind, or receive something in my mind that is like the complete opposite. But it's so out there that I've never witnessed that in my reality, and all of a sudden everybody that is a supporting character in your movie is in that same timeline. Okay? Like, none of your friends were doing computer animation or computer programming, and then you passionately decide to pursue that, and all of a sudden all of your friends that have been not pursuing this, not ever mentioning this, all of a sudden you come and they're all, hey, I'm doing computer programming, check this out. So that would be then an obvious shift of a timeline. And when you start to notice this, it means that already your consciousness is outside of these dimensions where the timelines are constructed. Now, when you go all the way outside of these dimensions, even the space and form are not real, because the absolute is only consciousness, and the space and form is then relative to consciousness, aka you're dreaming your life movie, you're dreaming it. So let's talk about how that works. So for me, this works a little bit like this. I don't have to analyze patterns, or I don't even have to, like, when I'm aware of a pattern, I can instantly shift my whole movie, okay, and the movie still adopts a different kind of pattern because, hey, this is how reality is architectured. So if you would have no patterns, then I would sit here with no thoughts and no desires and no interaction with other characters in my movie. So my movie would be emptiness, okay, which it has been for like prolonged period of time when I went into the emptiness or the pure consciousness. Now, as I adopt patterns, I move and interact with my reality through the pattern that I'm assuming, and then at any given point, I can surf that into a different variation of reality, so everything is kind of like given. And before that, before you are able to shift realities, you have to also dissolve what you think and how you emote with the current reality. So you cannot have an attachment if you have a mental idea about reality and what it is. That reality will create a loop, which may give you then the information, and you create a feedback loop. So you're like reprojecting all the time. Here's the movement, okay? The reality, the information being processed, the reality being projected, the input being processed, the reality being projected, the input being processed. So if you can stop this loop, you can now speak, and whatever you say will change the whole entire appearance of your reality. I hope that makes sense. Now, usually we're in a spontaneous place, so we're not pausing the loop, okay? And then if we believe that reality informs us, this is the first level of consciousness, which is innocent, okay? So we're just playing and like, oh my God, reality is like this. As I react, reality continues to be like that. As I interpret that and react emotionally to that, it stays like that. Now, when your consciousness expands, these karmic feedback loops are going to intensify in speed. That means, for example, if you're scared of me, my face is going to become scarier. And the more you get scared, I'm going to get scarier. And the more you get scared, I'm going to be scarier and scarier. It's the same with bliss or anger or fear or whatever. It becomes really fast. It becomes like instant manifestation. So instant feedback loop. And in my video game of life, okay, reality did this a couple of times. Like it was teaching me through, say, let's say, if I have an antagonist situation in my movie where I can choose how to react, and I react through, just like being like, hey, peace, love. Immediately the antagonist goes from they go like peace, love, right? Like, if I go, I'll fuck you up, they'll go, I'll fuck you up, and it takes about 20 seconds for any situation to go into complete destruction or complete friendship or complete sexuality or whatever you really, really, really directly respond to. So it's actually important to be non-responsive or detached. So you can really, really filter out these reactions and maybe not do intense reactions, but do like a little nudge. A little nudge is always enough. A little nudge in this direction, a little nudge in this direction, a little nudge. If you do something intense, you will get intense feedback. So practically, you need to develop ability to reinterpret reality on the go, meaning that also you cannot be reactive to whatever is playing, or if you are reactive to whatever is playing, you also have the ability to detach from your reactivity and switch up. Otherwise, the feedback loop might just feed a detrimental pattern in a really fast manner, and intense emotional reactions will really give energy to this pattern. I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit technical, but maybe for some of you this makes a lot of sense. So, oh yeah, you have to be able to go to full 0 point emptiness, and you have to be able to emulate through your body the highest excitement of love, fear, anger, orgasm, whatever, and also be free of that. So this is something that's called also Tantra, or like Tantra Yoga, where you can be intensely aroused with any type of feeling, any type of emotion, whether you label that positive or negative, is just emotion, where there's like fear and cringe, or like anger, or something like positive excitement or bliss. You need to be able to also allow these energies to move through your body without prompting your reaction. So it means like becoming full ability to regulate emotion. Regulate does not mean suppress. It means like fully feel the emotion, but so inside myself I could be burning right now, or I could be orgasming right now, and it's not that I'm like poker facing you. It's like also just the ability to move allow all of this energy to move through your body in a very intense manner, very pace, but you choose whether you are getting animated by that. Because if you speak or do something, it is feeding into your timeline. Now you can always erase everything that you said, and this is another level of forgiveness teachings. Like, it's not about who did what to whom. It didn't really happen. It happened in a timeline, which is a construct where these puppets that we are playing different shows. So if you want to transcend something, you need to also be able to feel it completely and then let it go, where you can move to a timeline where like you and me, we killed each other or whatever, but next time we see each other, it's just like super friendship, and like no, there's no even memory of something happening. So when you start to quantum surf, probably all the time you won't remember what happened yesterday, because it will be so irrelevant, let alone of who did what to whom. Like even 5 minutes ago, as soon as some pattern is diffused, it's not actual, only the now is real. So now in the now, you meditate and you have all of these like feedback loops with whatever you chose to play as a timeline, and then before you go and create an action or reaction, you want to pre-align your timeline. So I sit and I contemplate, okay, I have multiple projects that are like outside of my conscious awareness, but if I tune into a project, I tune into that timeline, and then I have to select every single thing, even how the people in my movie will react. So I pre-script, like if I'm, for example, right now I am writing a script, and there is an associate that is doing a funding for a project, but the level of the funding that they're willing to give, or they're proposing to give, or is not what I'm asking them, but what I pre-imagine my timeline to be like. So if I say it's $1 million, okay, when I go there, the script that they will be reading to me is going to be highlighting, we would really love to like invest $1 million. This is going to come from them, because I predetermined that this is the option. Now I may not pre-align myself with what is going to happen, and then I will get a timeline where I'm like seeing people or something is happening and we don't exactly know what is what. This is how people, if in your reality, will behave. if you haven't pre-selected exactly what you want to happen. Okay, if you pre-select exactly what you want to happen, you're going to get exactly that result. Now again, when you are pre-scribing, pre-coding your timeline, it's like, it's not changing your mind, but also feeling the pattern throughout your body and creating a visualization that is accepted by your physical body. Okay, so in the feeling of the body and what you're projecting, they need to be coherent. Okay, so I'm just saying this in case you're like new to this and then you change your mind about something but you still got the same result. The pattern is not here. Only whatever, like, your surface level of thinking is displayed here on your little screen. Your pattern runs through your body all the way. So you need to make yourself feel like something is comfortably true and effortlessly comfortably true in your body. There is no resistance. It means there is no quantum instability. There's no there's no other pattern variants. Okay, other pattern variants would be like, you still have things to contemplate. Your action is not pre-aligned because there's like, I was thinking about this and I was thinking about that. So you have multiple choices. When you have multiple choices, that's really cool because you can zoom in and zoom out and like choose where you want this day to go. So the game is not predetermined, but you are like always choosing and like cutting and editing your movie. But when you want to nail something, then you have to be specific about it. And then specific about it means like meditating. Now another way is to also burn down the other patterns. So that's when you zoom in with your mind on the only option that you want to have, and usually then the energy through your body will go something like fire and kind of transmute. I call this Kriya Yoga. Transmute the coding of everything else, and so you're left with whatever you selected as an option. So all of this is then a little bit jiggly wiggly because, as I said, there are these levels of awareness. First level, let's go again, is we are not aware that we are the creator of reality, so the game is playing us. And then the awareness of like psychoanalysis, where we start to understand what we are doing and we start to see and notice the patterns. And then the shamanic, consciousness, where we start to learn how to transmute, and then complete authorship, where you see that your consciousness and that the reality is happening in your inside of your bubble, inside the bubble of awareness, that this is the dream construct that's made of patterns. So at that level, there's no impossible, but still you have to use the patterns that you're given and then direct your awareness into reconfiguration of these patterns. So you may just accept many things that are there. At this level also, there's like this non-dual or kind of like equanimous consciousness, because you can find, you may find that there's no preference between like having a relationship or like living with people or being completely alone. You may find that like that this can be so interesting that you just want to like play with this like a child, and whatever you find interesting, you are giving meaning to that. And then you may find that you want to like pursue whatever interest that you mood board, like it's everything is interesting. You can just go and like touch plants all day and be like really like having like super amplified experience of plant life. or investigate ice creams all over the world and then create your own ice cream shop. So at this level, everything is a game, and any given thing that you select, you give it a meaning. So it's like nothing is really real, and the meaning and the feeling you put into your movie. So you're like a movie director with these like movie directors, they create beautiful scenes where you have like slow movement of camera and like atmospheric music, and then something like melancholic scene, and you can do it like scary movie, action movie. So you put emotion into movement, and all things can be transformed, all things can be neutral, or all things can be freaking lovable or orgasmic, but your core consciousness is equanimous or neutral to everything, and detached also from the scene. Just like the movie screen, okay? You can like press pause when you're like watching something on YouTube, you press space and it pauses, and then you go to your kitchen and you're like, what I'm gonna do? Let's have some tea. Alright? Then you come back, you play another video, or you continue where you stop. So you can still go into full immersion, like just give yourself to the sensual experience, the mental interpretation, the emotional reactivity, and you watch a movie and you go fully in. So from this last stage of consciousness, you are integrating the first, that I call innocently narcissistic stage of the second, where you can analyze the pattern, okay, because now you're intelligent, you can observe the pattern, you can analyze the pattern. Shamanic, where you can transform the pattern, and the overall authorship. So you can become fully immersed, you can go fully out. So just zoom out. Now, the one also thing about zooming out is instantly how I start to get this like Kriya stuff, because your body and the energetics, they start to always just attune, harmonize. So when you exit in the camera where your awareness is projecting from, or the 0 point, automatically the physical body will kind of like start to put everything into harmony, because in a way it's also that you can launch yourself into different realities. Okay, so before there is a dissolution of this reality, your body wants to put everything back into its place and then go to rest. So automatically, like, there will be some energetic attunement and kriya and whatnot. Okay, so if you're in the process of attuning yourself to this reality and learning how to play in the game of life, and you want some assistance, direct insight, direct guidance into parts and aspects of your pattern, transmutation of your pattern, going to 0 point, relaxing there, experiencing nirvana, I'm a meditation mentor, and you can hit me up to do one-on-one work with me if that's something that is interesting for you. Anywho, enjoy playing in the game of life, and I hope that this message was beneficial for you, my friend. I'll see you on the flip side.